What is up, guys? It's TimeForDillon, back at it again with another programming tutorial. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are new here, we are learning how to program in Python using ChatGPT. And what we're doing is we're tailoring everything to the Web3 crypto NFT space. I'm a DEGEN. You guys are probably DEGENS too. So follow along with me as we learn how to code in Python. Now, what I'm doing is we are following along on sololearn.com, which is a free website that teaches you guys how to program. What I'm doing is I'm giving you guys a little bit of my background in computer science to enhance those lessons. And then, of course, consult the expert, ChatGPT, for any help we might need. In today's video, we're covering lesson 4, control flow. If you've missed the first couple lessons, don't worry. I'll throw the link down below in the description so you guys can catch up. But without further ado, let's head on over to sololearn.com and get started with today's lesson. Alrighty guys, here we are at sololearn.com. If you guys haven't already started this series, I highly recommend go down in the description, click the link, and start at lesson 1. Once you catch up, come on back to this video. That way you're not behind and not knowing what's going on. But, you know, so far we've done getting started, just talking about the basics. Going deeper, talking about debugging, a little bit more data types and conditional statements. And then in the last one, working with data, I actually went a little bit further, introduced functions to you guys. That's how we're able to do this stake multiplier for our little program. Let's run it and see what's going on. Boom. Enter the name for wallet 1, whale. Enter the amount of ADA. Let's do however much that is. Enter a name, plebe, and the plebe only has 10. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. So as you can see, our program, all it does is just taking user input for name and the amount of ADA that you have. Then it's doing it for another one. It's telling you how much ADA is in each wallet. It's running this function right here, which is multiplying by this stake multiplier. So this is a little unrealistic the way that this works. So in today's video, we're going to build on this and make it a little bit more realistic, right? The stake rewards were applied. I didn't print it out. Maybe we'll print that out just so you can see that the stake rewards actually updated the wallet addresses. And then, of course, we run this little comparison right here to see which wallet has more. If wallet 1 has more, we'll print out, you know, the blank has more ADA than blank. Otherwise, we'll swap it and print out the opposite. So in this case, the whale has more ADA than the plebe. Cool, it works. So in today's episode, right, we're going to talk about control flow. We're going to go over booleans and comparisons, which we kind of already did. We talked about that a little bit in the last lesson, but we're just going to build on that a little more in today's lesson. Then we're going to talk about if and else statements, which you guys saw. We already know that. We know how to do that. Thank you, ChatGPT. Anyway, continue on along. Then we're going to talk about Boolean logic, which is like and, or, not, stuff like that. Basically, that is the logic behind conditional statements. And essentially, everything boils down to ones and zeros, or on and off, or true and false, which happens to be Boolean logic. So it can get a little complex, but I feel like once you get it, and it's stuck in your head. It's like riding a bike, in my opinion. After that, we're going to introduce while loops. So I'm super excited about the loops because with loops, we can make this stake multiplier function way more realistic. We can loop it 12 times for a year. Or maybe we can loop it, every 5 days per every epoch or something like that. We can make it more realistic with loops. Loops are basically just, let's repeat this task X amount of times, basically. So I'm super excited about that. And then last but not least, we will talk about break and continue. So make sure you guys stay tuned until the end of this video so you can see all of this new information, see how we apply it to our function, hello blockchain. Just like last time, I'm just going to fast forward through the lessons and then at the end, come back, tell you guys what we learned. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, we just finished up lesson 4, control flow. We talked about booleans and comparisons, if statements, else statements, boolean logic, and while loops. And now what we're going to do is, of course, head on over to our program, Hello blockchain, and we're gonna update this sucker just a little bit. So first thing I wanted to do was actually, because if we run this, right, let's go ahead and run this. Boom. Dylan, I have 1000 ADA. Charles has 2000 ADA. Boom, it just shows the output of the ADA. It says that the stake rewards were applied, and then it says who has more. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show that the stake rewards have actually been updated. So right here, boom, print out the names and wallets after stake rewards have been applied. Blah, 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 blah. And then, yeah, this is also a little funny. It says the Dylan has blah. So let's take that out and just leave name 1. And same with name 2. So name 2. Boom. Same here. We'll do the same thing down here. Name 1. Name 2. And then after, yeah, we'll just leave it like that for now. And then what I also want to do is, since we just learned about the else if, I wanted to also add an else if down here in our little conditional statement, because what if we happen to have the same amount of ADA? So let's go ahead and add that. If boom, wallet 1 equals wallet 2, boom, print. Then we're gonna just put name 1 plus boom, and boom plus name 2 plus space boom have the same amount of ADA, colon space, and then what I want to do is actually spit out how much ADA we have. So our ADA is being stored in the wallet variable as an int. And if you guys remember from the last lesson, you can't concatenate strings and integers. So we have to actually tell the computer that we want this integer to be represented as a string. So that's how you do it. You just put str parentheses and then put the variable name inside. So wallet 1. And, you know, since they're equal, we can put wallet 1 or wallet 2. It doesn't really matter because it's just going to put out the same amount. Boom. Plus. Boom. Boom. Save. Let's run it. Okay. D. 100. C. 100. And D has what? D and C have the same amount of ADA. 201. Bingo. Bango. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to update this stake multiplier function to be more realistic. And I actually cheated a little bit, not really, but I came over here and I asked ChatGPT some questions. So I asked ChatGPT, how many Cardano epochs happen in 1 year? So I know there's 5, right? And we could have just multiplied, figured it out, you know, with math, but I'm lazy and I'm tired and it's late at night. So let's have ChatGPT do it. ChatGPT found out that there are 73 epochs. So what I want to do, and as you guys can see, I actually had it write me a whole function. This is what's so cool about ChatGPT. Write me a Python function that takes, should have put takes in a number and calculates the return per epoch based on 4% APY. And bingo bango, gave us a whole function, and this actually looks like a pretty solid function. So they're calling it calculate return per epoch, APY, the epoch length 5 days, and then here we go. It's going to calculate the daily interest. Let's just copy this and we'll decipher it over here. So let's put this right under here. Boom. Right. So how does it do it? Let's see. Calculate the daily interest rate. So the daily rate is going to equal 1 plus the APY, which is 0.04. So that'll be 1.04, kind of like this one, but just a little different, times the daily amount. So 1 divided by 365 will give you a pretty small number. But that's what it's supposed to be, because
we're trying to get a multiplier by the day, and then down here it's going to figure out per epoch based on the epoch length. So but the only thing that's a little bit different than this one, let's go ahead and actually we'll leave everything the same. The only thing is, of course, now we want to change this function down here to be calculate. You know what? Let's just copy it. Copying is so much easier. Just copy. Boom. Copy. Paste. Paste. Boom. So how is this gonna work? Let's see. We have wallet 1. It's gonna add to the value that it's currently holding, right? Whatever this function is gonna return. So this function right here, what is it gonna return? So if we put in, let's say 100, right? It's gonna calculate the daily rate, which is pretty small. It's gonna be smaller than 0.04. And then let's see. Okay, let's see. Then what it's going to do is it's going to take our balance, which is the number that we're sending in, right? Wallet 1. That'll come up here to where this variable is, balance. Basically, we're just sending it. It's like address in memory. Then this balance is going to have the value that we sent in from over here. Boom, wallet 1. Whatever was stored in wallet 1 from the user. Okay, then that's going to come down here. We're going to multiply that times the daily rate and times the epoch length. And we're going to subtract the balance. That way it's simply returning whatever the daily reward is. So, okay, so let's see what we get if we run it. Let's go ahead and delete this old function. Boom, boom. Okay, save it. Run it. D 100. And I'm just going to keep it simple, 100, because what we should expect is like 104, right? If we run it for a whole year, that's what the number should be. So this right here should be smaller than 104. That's what I'm guessing, because we didn't yet incorporate a whole year. We're just doing it based on the epoch. Okay, so C 100, boom, and yeah, there we go. That looks a little bit better. 100.05. So 0.05, that's going to be like your stake rewards every epoch. If you had 100 ADA, right? If you're staking 100 ADA, the current interest rate is 4%. Then you're going to be getting not even like half an ADA every epoch. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to use what we learned, right? The while loop, so that we can loop this function call as many times as it takes to get a whole year, right? That just for this example. So how many epochs are in a year? We figured that out over here. 73 epochs. So 73. Boom. So coming down here, what do we want to do? We want to run this while loop 73 times, right? So to do this, we just create a variable. We'll call it I. It's like the standard that everyone calls. It's the iterator. This is what's going to keep track of our loop. So then we're going to do while I is less than 73. What are we going to do? We are going to do this. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we're just going to keep adding in the stake rewards, right? Because this is compound interest. After we ran it just once, right, we have 100.053, blah, 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 long number. If we run it for a second time, it's going to take that number, right, the 100.05, and it's going to send it back through this function. So now the number is bigger, so you're going to get a little bit more rewards. So what do we expect to see after we run this 73 times? I expect to see 4% added onto the wallet value, right? So if we put in 100, I expect to see 104 at the end. So we just got to add one thing, the iterator. We got to boom, right? So that it goes through, runs these, and then adds one. Keeps track, keeps counting, keeps counting, keeps counting. Once it hits 73, it stops. Okay. Save it, run it. Boom, D. I have 100. Charles has 100 as well. And there you go. Yeah, just about 104. Now, of course, there's going to be some variations because of leap years and blah, 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 blah. But just about 104. That's just about what we were expecting. So, what's cool about this, right? Since we don't really have anything hard-coded, except for the APY and the epoch, if we want to change the APY or we want to change the epoch, maybe not the epoch, I don't think we'll ever change that. But if we want to just change the APY, like, you know, a lot of these stake pools, the APY kind of fluctuates. We could just change this one value right here and it will affect this loop down here. Super cool. This is why running functions, later on we're going to talk about classes and more obscure data structures, way smarter because you work way less work, so it's smarter, right? Work smarter, not harder. We could technically copy and paste these lines of code right here 73 times and we get the same value. That would be kind of dumb because if we made an error or if we wanted to change something, we'd have to go back and change 73 lines of code instead of 4. So that's why we do it like that. So what I want to do is I actually want to change this to 3.5 because that's a little more accurate. If I think so, right? Clay Nation is somewhere around 3.5% APY. So we'll just update that. Boom. Okay, and actually what I wanted to do was move this up here. Boom. The reason why I want to move that there is so that I can access this value anywhere. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do APY percent. And that is going to equal the APY times 100. That way I can output it more easily, you know, like in the text. So let's see. Boom. What I want to do now is I want to change this text to be a little smarter. So name has that much ADA after staking rewards. After staking for 1 year at what? At, let's see, APY percent APY. I think we could put a percent right there. Percent. And we got to cast this as a string, just like the last one, because we can't concatenate. What is that? A float and a string. So we got to tell the computer, hey, look at this number as a string and not as a numerical value. All right, and let's copy that. Boom. 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 All right, save it. Let's run it, and we should be getting some good numbers now. Okay, D, 100, C, 100, boom, and there we go. D has 103.5 ADA after staking for 1 year at 3.5% APY. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to fix this format so we're not outputting so many decimal variables. You know what I mean? How to format floats. How to format float output for 2 decimals in Python. Boom. Okay. Interesting. Now I think we could just do this. Let me copy this. Nope, that did not work. Let's try that again. In Python using print, because I want to just keep it in print. There we go. The value X is the format X. Cool. Okay, let's stop generating. This right here, this is how we're going to do it. Boom. Value X is this thing. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to restrict the user input to make sure that they put text, okay? So, of course, let's consult the expert, ChatGPT. And actually, I already typed in the question. How do I make sure user input is restricted to string/name in Python? And here it is. It's beautiful. I love it. And you know what's cool? We actually just learned about break in today's lesson. So now you guys know literally what all this code does. This is why I think it's important that we learn how to program first. Or not necessarily first. Learn how to program while we learn how to use ChatGPT. Because it just helps you understand how to actually implement the code, correct it, and incorporate it into existing scripts that you've been writing. So anyway, let's copy this. Boom. Come on back over here. Boom, boom. Paste that there. Blum, 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 blum. Please enter your name for wallet 1. Boom. We'll change that to name 1. We'll change this to name 1. We'll delete this. Boom. And we also learned about booleans. So this is pretty cool. So while true, basically it's going to be true unless we tell it otherwise. We're going to take name 1. We're going to store whatever the input is from the user. And we're going to make sure, using this right here, is alpha. We're going to make sure that it's all alphabetical. So if it is, then we're going to break and continue on. Otherwise, we're going to print out a user error, right? And then come back to the top of the loop and start over until we break on out of this sucker. So boom, that's for the first one. Let's copy that. And get the second one for wallet 2. Okay, blah, 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 for name 2, name 2, name 2. Okay, boom. Now what I want to do, let's make sure this works first, right? Boom. Run it. Come on, run it. Enter your name. Let's do 2. Invalid input. Please enter a valid name with letters only. Okay. DI2. Yeah, same thing. Okay, what about Dylan? Oh, works. Cool. Enter the amount of ADA, 100. Now let's see if Charles is going to stop it too. And you know what? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, made a little error right there. Wall 2. Okay. Got 2. Boom. Okay. Boom. Okay, cool. So it's working. Awesome. Let's save that. And now what I want to do is I want to do the same thing, but for the numbers, right? If you're going to tell me how much ADA you have, I want you to actually give me a number. So just retype the question. How do I make sure user input is restricted to numerical data? Same exact thing. Bingo, bango. So we're just going to copy that. Come on over here. Let's see. Take name 1 input. Boom. Oh, you scared me, babe. Okay. Okay, take wallet 1 input, boom. We're gonna do the same thing. Take name 2 input, and then down here, boom. Take wallet 2 input. Boom. Okay, now we got that new text over here. Let's copy that. Boom. Bring it on over. So while true, which is the base case, we're gonna try taking in the wallet data, wallet 1. This time we're going to store it as a float instead of an int, which is probably smarter because, yeah, we're going to end up with decimals anyway. But it really doesn't matter because if we store it as an integer and then multiply it by a float, we're going to end up with a float. So it really doesn't matter. But let's just keep it as a float. Okay, please enter the amount of ADA you have. Boom. Get rid of that. Boom. Put wallet 1. La, 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 la. And if the user does not enter a numerical data, we're gonna throw an exception. It's kind of like an if-else. Like if they don't give you the right type of data, we're gonna throw an error in the form of string telling the user, hey, you didn't give us numbers. Then we're gonna restart the loop. All right, so let's copy that. Put it down here. Do the same thing for the second wallet. Boom. Wallet 2. Boom. Save it. Run it. Okay. D100. C100. And there we go. There we go. Wallets are printing out the data. We got the stake rewards coming in. We have the APY set. Everything looks great. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you guys made it this far, you guys are actually looking like some legit programmers. I mean, we almost have 100 lines of code. If someone walks into your room and you have this and they don't know anything about programming, they're going to think you're a legit programmer. So shout out to you guys. If you do have questions or you want more in-depth help, hit me up on Twitter. Drop a comment down below. Let me know. I'm down to help. I really don't care. I'm going to school for this. I'm programming like every single day. So I'm down to help. If you guys have suggestions moving forward of like what you want me to incorporate in these lessons, maybe you want me to do, I don't know. Give me a suggestion down below. I'll be happy to incorporate it. But other than that, you guys have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are. Dylan is out.